many times can your scenic ocean drive be interrupted by that terrible, grating question? How many times have you searched for an answer only to hope that something will intervene and provide your kids with a much-needed distraction? Well, you can stop hoping right now because Aqualand is here to save the day. It's only a short drive away from checkpoint 11. When you've had more fun than you can handle, be sure to visit the Kraken, Aqualand's premier interactive underwater roller coaster is sure to be a scream.
Okay, that's all we need to know about Aqualand. Glad they had so much faith in the Kraken. That definitely didn't backfire. But you didn't come here to listen to me drone on and on about one of the bridge's biggest disasters. Tonight, I'd like to share a story that's been told around the Watchtower 10 dinner table at least 2 or 3 times. Okay, maybe 10. I hope you'll forgive me for what I said during that last episode. I've shared so many stories with you, and that was the first one. The only one, really, that was ever personal. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then maybe you can dig up a recording of our last episode. There has to be one floating around out there, somewhere. But, if not, then my words and the meaning behind them become one more thing eroded away by time. And if there's one thing I've learned out here, it's that the past is never really quite done with us. Does anyone remember that ad campaign? Those old posters you still see everywhere. If you know what I'm talking about, you can probably imagine it now. That etching of the bridge, and instead of beams and girders, just one word supporting it. Connection. But what is connection exactly? Why do we seek it? And, more importantly, what happens when it seeks us? We'll find out today. You're listening to The Bridge. Now, that ad campaign's word choice was certainly an interesting one. Suddenly, all these faraway places seemed so accessible. No tickets, no airport security or travel-sized shampoos, or that guy in 16D who for some reason needs the entire armrest. It's a nice idea, I guess, that you could drop everything one day and go, meet people you may never have known otherwise. But, as always, there's a catch. If you want to meet those people, you have to cross one of the loneliest places in this world. You have to dance into the reach of the loneliest living things. No, Frank, I'm not talking about you. Sometimes I think I know what it means to live out here. But if you're on the bridge tonight, imagine the spot you're in without you in it. Imagine that there's nothing where you're standing but ocean. And imagine that's the way you want it. Can you do that? Reach deep down into that part of yourself you only seem to feel when you're alone. The part that wonders if that solitude will last forever. The part that hungers for it. Look where you're standing right now and imagine there's nothing. Just you and that feeling. And then imagine someone changes that without asking you. If you're imagining right, I think you know there's no language we could possibly share with the things that live out here. They're smart, though. They don't need a language to share. They've learned ours. I know what certain listeners must be thinking right now, but for the more pedantic among us, I scored a primary source for my tale this evening. A report from just a year ago, written by one bridge travel agent Lemaire of Checkpoint 12. Now, our friend Lemaire comes into the story a little late. By the time his report begins, the scene is already set. A family of 14 stopped just 2 miles past the checkpoint, frantically searching for their youngest daughter. No, not searching, I suppose, because they can hear her, way, way down toward the lowest parts of the bridge's skeleton, crying for someone to climb down to her. Somehow, Lemaire, on duty by himself that night, is able to restrain the panicked family from vaulting the guardrail themselves. He is able to hide from her crying parents that his heart is pounding almost as fast as theirs. And somehow, without a single extra pair of hands to help, he manages to assemble all the gear he needs to lower himself down to the surface of the water. He admits to the eldest brother he'd never lowered himself so far down before. But, as he confesses here in the report, he's never so much as crossed the guardrail. So here he is, in the middle of the night, strapped into a harness that seems less and less sturdy the more he looks at it. But he listens to that little girl crying. Over his shoulder, he can hear the girl's father howling. So he takes a breath, and he starts to climb. And then someone grabs him by the shoulders and throws him back, away from the edge. That little girl's father was shouting for him, telling him to get back. Lemaire gets his bearings, and then he notices where the father is pointing. His wife is standing behind him, as is his youngest daughter, who was sleeping in the back of the RV the entire time. Over the side of the bridge, he can still hear the little girl's voice, begging for someone to climb down. He hears it long after that family has driven away. Out here, you'll hear dozens of stories like that. We have a name for what makes those sounds. We call them mockingbirds. No one knows what they want, of course. We tell each other to ignore the voices that couldn't possibly be there, and so far most of us have succeeded. Some think it's a lure, like those fish that carry light in the deepest parts of the ocean, but others don't find it so sinister. I've never heard them calling for me, but I think they must want what we want. Connection. It makes sense if you think about it. If you were completely alone, surrounded by nothing but an endless expanse of soul-crushing darkness, with an occasional thought about how no one is coming to find you ever, then you would...
Hey, Etta.
Yes?
I brought you something. Maybe this'll help.
Help with...
Roger hasn't told you?
Told me what?
Maybe I should...
There you are. I don't know why I bothered checking for you anywhere else.
I'm always here, Roger. Well, except when I'm not.
Birdie's waiting for you on level 4.
No, there's nothing up there but wind and total darkness.
I didn't sign up to live in this hellhole because I wanted to listen to your riveting, poetic interpretation of our circumstances. I need you to go up to level 4 and make sure the breakers are in good condition.
Why can't Kate do that? She's better with the whole fixing thing than I am.
Kate and I are going down to the submares to check on things.
Hold on, that's my job. I'm responsible
You'll
for...
do as you're told. Appraise what you can on the upper levels. Check the windows and the big light too while you're at it. I want to make sure we're prepared for the storm. It should be here in the next few hours.
The windows and the big light? That whole floor isn't stable. You want us to climb up there and make sure our giant flashlight doesn't break? What if the wind knocks it off its hinges and then it knocks into us? If you and Kate are down in the submares, then who exactly is going to fish us out of the salty abyss once we fall in?
No one. Don't fall.
Thank you for the advice. Oh, great one.
Roger, maybe I should...
No, I need you with me in the submares. Just in case.
Well, this plan can only end in tears and heartache. Bertrand, ready your courage, 'cause we're headed up to the creepy attic.
The moon's not even out. You can't see a thing.
Oh, don't remind me.
Oh my god, it's like I'm on a staff with 5-year-olds. Look, the storm's supposed to hit us in a couple of hours, so you have to get this done tonight. I'm sorry.
Are you? Wait till my ghost comes back to haunt you. Which reminds me of a story.
Edda, not now.
Fine. But when the spirits of broadcasters past appear to show you the error of your ways, I hope you remember this day as the one when everything went horribly, terribly wrong. So, who's gonna say it?
Say what?
Oh, come on, you know what.
I really don't.
I've never been more disappointed in you. Pretty soon you'll just walk off into the darkness and get eaten by a velociraptor.
Look, can we just... Wait, what?
It's from a movie, Bertrand. You know, that thing with the moving pictures and random explosions.
I don't like movies with explosions.
Oh, well, this one's a little light on the pyrotechnics. It's got lots of dinosaurs, though. And a romance. Well, kind of.
Maybe I'll watch it then. You know, once the storm's out of the way.
We can have a marathon.
What's wrong? You ran out of stories to tell?
Me? Never.
Good. Dinner wouldn't be the same without them. Now, shine that light in the corner over there.
What, you mean in that super dark corner where creepy crawlies could be lurking?
And I thought you weren't scared of anything.
There is a big difference between liking a good ghost story and being fearless.
You don't say. Could you... Something's in here.
Us?
No. Something else.
Last I checked, we didn't have a creepy laugh track following us around. Right?
No.
Great. Didn't think so.
Do you think they're all right up there?
I'd be more worried about us.
Right. So, how do we know if the containment door stops working?
Pretty sure we'd be dead.
Really glad there was some planning put in there.
Again! That's why you're here.
And what exactly am I supposed to do if we find ourselves in worst case scenario land? Shoot him? Dazzle him with my girlish charm?
Do I need to remind you what would happen if it got out?
He has a name, you know.
Now you're starting to sound like her.
Someone has to. She's the only one who can calm him down, and you sent her to fix a light. How do you figure that would make any sense?
If it came down to it, Etta wouldn't be able to do what was necessary. She knows it too. Hell, even Birdie knows it. And he's off talking to his hydrangeas most of the time.
So that's it then? I'm a disposal service. The company's fail-safe.
A year ago, you were completely fine with that. What the...
Level 4 to Submarine 3. Level 4 to Submarine 3. Do you copy?
We copy level 4. What's your status?
Roger? Can you put Kate on?
What?
Can you?
Etta, what's going on? Are you alright?
Depends on your definition of alright. We, might be hearing things.
That's an understatement.
That. We're hearing that.
Us too. Hang out where you are.
Yeah. In the dark, with the creepy giggle ghost. Sounds like a great plan.
We'll be right. Roger, please tell me that was you. Roger.
Etta,
What?
turn around. Slowly.
Oh, come on. Is anyone there? Submare 3 to level 4. Where are you? Okay, status report. One walkie that may or may not reach the others. One missing pain in the ass, or whatever Roger is. One... Bob? One flashlight that Roger had. Great. One gun, which I'm not using. Right now, anyway. And one me. One.
Kate? Kate? Kate?
They can handle themselves. What are we going to do about... that?
Unless you're secretly a witch or a priest, not much.
So we... just...
Okay, let's get out of here. Birdie? Of course. Here I am, in the dark. You know, you can only do that so many times before it loses its effect.
Henrietta?
No,
Henrietta?
it's not possible. Mom?
One question, darling. Will you know who I am when we meet again?
Etta? Etta! Are you alright? What happened?
Birdie? Is that really you?
You're definitely not alright. You just called me Birdie.
What happened to you?
I don't know. I was standing next to you, and then I was downstairs. Weird thing is, I heard someone as I was coming up the stairs. I thought I heard...
I heard it too.
I thought...
A voice from a long time ago.
Let's get out of here. We can fix the breaker later.
No, we came up here to do this. How exactly do we do this?
Point the light over there and pay attention this time.
I can't believe it. I'm actually starting to miss Roger.
Kate.
If this light would just turn back on.
Kate.
I knew I should have checked the battery before I came down here.
You never listened to me. Why?
Because you're not real. Not anymore.
I'm just as real as you.
No. I know exactly what you are, and I don't care about anything you have to say.
Well, you should. You won't be able to save them all. It's almost here.
What is?
The moment where you'll have to choose. Who will you allow to live? Who will you fail to save?
Phew. Okay, do me a favor, Bertrand. Next time you tell me to pay attention, make sure I've got a little notebook to write everything down properly.
Etta?
I think there's still something wrong with me. I could have sworn I heard Kate's voice.
Because you did.
Weird. I hear it too.
Check your walkie, will you?
Oh!
Where's Roger?
We spend an awful lot of time looking for each other in this place.
He's definitely not here.
He was right next to me. And then... Oh my god, are you okay? What happened?
Something hit my head. What'd I miss?
Nothing. Power went out. Power's back on.
And...
Everything is where it should be.
As fascinating as this conversation is, I'd also like to have dinner sometime in the near future. Bertrand?
Food would be nice.
It's settled then. Report to the kitchen as soon as you can.
Did you know that there are only 3 words in the English language that begin with dwa, dwindle, dwarf, and dwell?
Kate, this isn't the...
Dweeb.
It's a fun fact, Roger.
Dweeb also starts with DW.
I'll allow it.
That blessed arrangement.
What?
That dream within a dream.
Okay, I'm drawing the line on that one.
Kate.
I'm drawing a line in the sand, Birdie.
It's a modern class.
Guys?
Birdie, can you pass the beans?
Roger, can you pass the salt?
You can reach the salt just fine.
Sure, but I'd have to reach over you like this.
Okay, alright, yes, thank you. I could have done without the demonstration. Etta, can you pass the...
No, I will not pass the tea or a napkin or the pepper, so get over it, okay? Just get over it.
Etta?
We've all been sitting around for an hour pretending nothing happened.
But dinner was your idea.
Because I wanted to talk. But clearly that's not happening anytime soon.
What would you like to talk about?
I don't know any of it. The voices, for starters.
I'd rather not talk about that part in particular.
But we heard those voices for a reason.
And you, more than anyone, know that there are things out there that can mimic voices. What? Look, all the stories you tell at dinner are bound to stick at some point.
I didn't know you were listening. I'm sorry. What I heard, that voice, I hadn't heard that voice in a long time. If you don't want to talk about it, I won't force you.
Well, looks like it's just me and you, kid.
Yeah. Who did you hear?
My cousin, which is impossible. And you?
My mother. Also impossible.
So here we are, surrounded by impossibilities.
Some of them are more terrifying than others. How do you stand it?
Stand what?
I don't know. Impossibility? The chance that those voices really were.
It wasn't them. I know that much.
But how?
I know I don't make this request often, but just trust me, okay?
That was certainly an interesting turn of events. Birdie won't talk about the voice he heard while he was climbing up the steps, and I shouldn't press him for an answer. The whole thing is just strange. I know what I heard, and I know it can't be her, but is it wrong of me to hope? A small delusion never hurt anyone. Right? The bright side to all of this is that the big light is ready for the soon-to-appear storm. I, however, am not. I hate storms. Anyway, for the sake of being honest, when I tell Roger that I've done my job, if anyone's out there tonight on the bridge, you don't need to worry about traffic. Like at all. I promise. From Watchtower 10, this is Etta, signing off. And remember, no matter how enticing that water looks, don't go in it. This episode of The Bridge was written by Alex Brown and Rebecca Mahoney. It features, in order of appearance, Sarah Grover as the Welcome Brigade, Alex Brown as Etta, Liz Hull as Kate, Chris Martin as Roger, and David Piccarello as Birdie. We're happy to introduce Stephanie Wiggum as Mysterious Voice number 1 and Jen Illusion as Mysterious Voice number 2. This episode also features Olivia and Maya Smith as the Creepy Laughter. The two wonderful pieces of music that accompanied tonight's Mockingbird folktale, as well as the Welcome Brigade's chime, were composed by the coolest cat around, Sarah Fairchild. Our spectacular main theme was composed by the equally spectacular Jake Hull. This episode was edited and mixed by Alex Brown. The static sound effects playing under our mysterious voices, as well as this sound, were provided by Dead Signals, creators of the Archive 81 podcast. We'd also like to thank our friends at Tanis for being awesome. If you're not already listening to them, check them out. Want to learn more about why Aqualand was such a bad idea? Visit our website at thebridgepod.com. You can also find us on Twitter at bridge_podcast. Please rate and review us on iTunes, and feel free to email us at watchtower10reports@gmail.com. It's kind of a long address, but if you go to our website and click on the little mail icon, it'll lead you right to it. And we like email, so please send them in. Thank you once again for listening to The Bridge. As a special treat, we have a slight insight into my editing process. So what you'll hear is me laughing a lot and recordings arguing with each other.
Okay, this is kind of hilarious. So I am editing the dialogue, and it's really rough, but this is basically what just happened.
Once we fall in.
No one. Don't fall.
That was good. I'll try that one more time.
No, I need you.